This is Carolina This Week. Carolina This Week with Tim McGinnis.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us for Carolina This Week. Filing is open, so people who want to run for office, this is the time to file to run for office until March 30th. Horry County Council has a lot of seats that are open this time around. One of them is District 5, and running for the District 5 seat is Reese Boyd. You're joining a lot of other people. It looks like it's going to be a crowded race. District 5, if you're not aware, that is the south part of the county, South Strand, if you will. And why are you running, Reese?
Thank you, Tim. It's good to be with you. I'm running, Tim, because I'm a longtime resident of the county. I was born in Conway. I care very deeply about the county. I care about District 5 in particular, and I'm really interested in working hard to help improve the quality of life for the residents of the District 5 and the county in general. I think it's, at this point, Tim, it's about jobs, and I think it's incumbent upon our county council to work to help foster economic development and improve the quality of life for our citizens. We have a great quality of life in certain respects, but one area where I think we're still lagging is economic development and job growth. County Council has done a great job. Mark Lazarus and the council have done a wonderful work bringing employers to the county. We've had some real success in the gun manufacturing space, particularly on the western side of the county, but and the legislative delegation and Alan Clemens, everybody's done a fantastic job. EDC, my hat is off to them, but we need to continue that push. It's really all about bringing jobs in and improving the quality of life for our citizens, and that'll be my focus. I had an opportunity as a young man to work for Governor Campbell as a young lawyer, fresh out of law school, and I've always been interested ever since that in economic development. He, of course, was a politician who emphasized economic development, and so that'll be a focus if I'm elected councilman.
One of the big challenges facing Horry County right now is developing the infrastructure to keep up with all of the growth. Your part of the county is certainly no stranger to a lot of growth. A lot of talk about the Southern Evacuation Lifeline, getting I-73 here. As far as infrastructure is concerned, what are your priorities and what do you want to see happen, particularly for your district?
I think for our district in particular, I think a Southern Evacuation Lifeline is a priority. It certainly will cost money, and we'll have to be prudent in how we fund that, as we will have to be prudent with all the other financial decisions that council is called upon to make. But I think that's a priority. I think it'll bring economic development to the south end. I think it will spur growth west of the river, and I think it's critical for the residents of the district.
How about I-73? And obviously there's not a lot from the county level that can be done, but is this something that needs to continue to be championed by the county to impress upon people at the state level and federal level to
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. You know, it's one of the things that concerns me, Tim, quite frankly, is we have to build these roads. We have to have infrastructure. You and I were speaking before we went on the air about 501. 501 is a mess for everyone, because I don't live in Carolina Forest as you do, but I live on the south end. But I use 501 to get to my office, to the Conway Courthouse. I use 501. It affects the lives of everyone who lives in the county. So we have to focus on these needs. I-73 is not necessarily a county issue, but we need, as a delegation, to be in the face, so to speak, of everyone who is in a decision-making role in getting that done, and to advocate for the county and for our region, and to help get that road developed, and again, prudently, but it needs to be done. It needs to be done. And a lot of this, whether we're talking about I-73 or whether we're talking about economic development, a lot of this is just selling these ideas, you know, knocking on CEO doors and making them aware that, hey, this needs to be a priority, and the Horry County is here and ready to do business.
You mentioned economic development earlier, talking about the gun,
Yes.
the gun manufacturers coming to the western part of the county. What do you see for the southern part of the county? Obviously, tourism's going to be here, and it's going to continue to be here as long as we have beaches, and I don't see those going anywhere anytime soon.
Yep.
What do we do about other industry, or is it really necessary to lure industry to your district and just kind of leave it with tourism?
Well, I think it's great for the county to be diversified economically. yeah, I grew up in Conway, and the traditional wisdom has always been that kids grow up here, they go to school, and the best and the brightest kids are leaving the area, and not that there's anything wrong with staying, but if you don't have a family connection to a business, it's the general approach that most people is to leave and go other places. I think if we have more jobs, more diversity, manufacturing, not everybody can be involved in tourism. Not everybody, and the unfortunate reality is in tourism, a lot of the jobs are service-oriented, and the jobs don't pay quite as well as you find in other sectors. And so I would love to see us have more diversity. I mean, we'll always have the beaches, we'll always have tourism, but we really need to push for economic diversity. We need manufacturing. We need more manufacturing jobs in this county. We need to work hard to try to bring those, because other exposure in the economy, other areas that we can develop will give us economic diversity, and I think will help insulate us from cyclical impacts, and tourism can be impacted by hurricanes. And so it's not wise in most areas of life to have all your eggs in one basket. So I think we need to work hard to diversify our economy and open up opportunities for people, not just in tourism, but in manufacturing, science and technology, other areas, research and development, aerospace. I think we've got a great opportunity in the airport, in the facility there, and we need to push that hard. And that's not necessarily in District 5, but certainly, I live in District 5, I commute to Myrtle Beach. I mean, economic development in that region of the county is good for people in District 5.
You also mentioned this earlier about the council that we have right now. They seem to work together pretty good as a whole. Yes, they disagree sometimes, but they manage to approach things as a whole.
Yes.
How do you see yourself fitting in? Are you going to work with them, work against them, voice your own opinion, or how's it going to work?
I see myself fitting in, Tim. Well, if I'm elected, we'll see how that goes. But no, I'm very impressed with, and I've complimented the chairman more than once on the job that he's done bringing the council together. Yes, they have disagreements. Of course, they have disagreements. But it's more a question of how does the council work through those discussions. Having again been a long-time resident, I've seen councils that didn't work nearly as well as this council, and it's good that the council is working together to find solutions to the problems and challenges that we face, and I'll continue to work with that. I'm a practicing lawyer. I think as a lawyer, there are no lawyers on the council. I think I bring a perspective to the council that will be helpful. One of the first areas of interest that piqued my attention recently is the areas that were really under discussion, a lot of discussion recently with the council in past months have been helicopters, the transaction with WestJet, efforts to bring air service to Myrtle Beach International Airport, and just the circumstances related to the airport generally have been issues that the council has dealt with. In my practice as a lawyer, I represent various aviation entities, so I've had a fair amount of aviation experience, and so I thought that perspective would be helpful for the council, and so I think it will.
Well, let's talk about something else the council's dealing with right now, and those are beach tents. And your district falls right along the beaches.
Yes.
What do you think about beach tents?
I'm a big fan of beach tents. I understand the arguments on both sides of the issue. Personally, I tend to think, my general disposition is that we're all better off with less regulations and less red tape, and businesses and individuals do better as a general rule with more freedom and less regulation. But where there is a compelling public safety interest, and I think that case is being argued, I think there are times when the government does have to regulate. I think the beach tent situation, from my perspective, it has appeared to me to be manageable without regulation, but I understand the argument that there's a public safety issue at work.
Real quickly?
Yes.
I don't live in your district, but if I did, why should I vote for you?
Well, I'm a lifelong resident of the county. I was actually born in Conway, and I spent some time, as we were discussing, in Washington and D.C., and I've had experience outside the state, and I think there are things that I bring to the equation, as somebody who has that perspective, I've lived elsewhere. I mean, I know we have a great quality of life here in Horry County. There are areas we need to work on. Economic development, job opportunities for our young people, job opportunities for everybody. You hear about the recession easing, but I think there are a lot of people in Horry County and in District 5 who don't feel that yet. And we need to work hard to bring that economic opportunity to our citizens, and I'll work extremely hard to do that. And I think that's the main reason that I would encourage people to support me. And I think I bring the experience and the background to the election that will assist me in serving on County Council.
All right. Reese Boyd, candidate for District 5, Horry County Council. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.